Hi there.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. What about yourself?
Good. It's Monday. The week has been kicked
Yes.
off. And welcome everyone to another new episode on a public bench in my town, The Hague. Um, joined here by Janica. Please tell us which bench did you choose?
I chose a bench here by the harbor. I was hoping we could find one that's actually facing the harbor, but that doesn't exist. So this is the second best thing now.
Yeah, that's the only thing where we're facing every time we pick a bench.
Yeah.
Is that people pick a bench for the view, and then we sit and they're like,
The
okay,
views, of course.
we can enjoy the view, but, but the viewers can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'm gonna take some shots to be cut in this sequence here, so people can enjoy along and visualize where we're at. Well, welcome guys to another new episode of the Good Place podcast series. As you know, every week or twice a month, we host a conversation with a citizen somewhere in a particular city at a given bench to talk about life and about the place they live in. And last episode, somebody reached out to us. This time around, I reached out to somebody else, which was Janica, because I came across your vlogs on YouTube about your adventures here in The Hague. And I loved it. I mean, I see a lot of vlogs. I mean, it's not nothing new to have vlogs,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed the unpretentiousness of it and the joy and the enthusiasm. So I felt like reaching out and saying hi. I hope you don't regret it.
No, not at all. I'm super excited. I've never been on a podcast before though, but I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah, let's make it fun. It's
Yeah.
not a given, but that's really, we have to do it and make it fun. For the viewers, I mean, tell us a bit more about who's Janica. I mean, where you're from, and you're not from The Hague. Where are you from, and how long have you been living here?
So I'm originally from Finland, but I moved to the Netherlands about 5 years ago. I first moved actually to a city called Leiden. I lived there for about 3.5 years. And then I went to Latin America for 6 months. We sold everything and quit our jobs. And now we came back about a bit less than a year ago. And ever since then, I've been living here in The Hague. And I've been very much enjoying it. But I've only moved to this like beachy area since like February. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And before that?
Before that, we lived 6 months in a temporary apartment because the housing market in the Netherlands is not the best. So we had to take what we could get when we came back, and we're
Tense.
homeless. So yeah, yeah,
But was it okay?
yeah. It was fine. It was in the city center. It was very small and very expensive for the size. It was like 30 square meters, and I lived together with my boyfriend, and we paid like almost 1,700 euros a month for that. But that's the Dutch prices, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where in Finland are you from?
So I'm from a city called Helsinki, which is nice because I feel like if I would be from any other Finnish city, people wouldn't know where it would be from. But the last 5 years when I lived there, I actually lived in a city called Turku, which is a bit of a student city. So when I think about Finland and like my home in Finland, I actually more think about the Turku city, which is the old capital of Finland.
Okay.
But yeah, originally from Helsinki.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And why the Netherlands?
It's a bit of a boring answer in a way. My boyfriend's Dutch, so I ended up here. I've always wanted to live abroad though, and I've always traveled a lot, so it wasn't like a weird thing for me to move here. I feel like when I told my family and friends, they were like, okay. Like there was no like surprise there.
Okay.
But basically during the first like pandemic wave, he got stuck in Finland for 3 months in my 18 square meter apartment.
Okay.
And we were even in quarantine for 2 weeks. So it was a true test on the relationship. And then after that, we were like, if we could do this, I could probably, that we could actually move in together properly. And it was easier for me to find a job from the Netherlands versus for him from Finland.
Okay.
So that's why
And
we ended up
you
here.
met in Finland?
No, we met in a hostel in Sweden.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Actually, it was a bit funny because I was on a solo trip and I had arrived the night before and I wasn't actually feeling good at all. I had a bit of a migraine. It was early in the morning and I was feeling extremely antisocial. And I just woke up to use the bathroom and then I hear someone say, "Good morning." And I was like, no. But now I live here. So that's the story in a short form. Yeah.
So from a good morning
I now live here.
and a light migraine,
Yeah.
from then onwards it could only go up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good, nice. Is he originally from The Hague?
No, he's actually from Brabant. So from a really small town there called Ramsdonksviger.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. We'll cut that out. No, just kidding. No idea where that is. Never heard of it.
Yeah, most people haven't.
Okay. Might be an invitation. Yeah, I mean, what I liked about why I want to connect is also, for one, I didn't have a Finnish person on the bench. Are there any similarities of somebody? I mean, I once had a Finnish roommate. He was very quiet, very not so expressive. So I wasn't sure if Finnish are like that, but how is it to live in the Netherlands as a Finn?
I do recognize what you're saying. I think that's like the very stereotypical kind of Finn. I feel like I'm maybe a little bit more outgoing than a typical Finn, but still, for example, in some like work situations and stuff, I do notice that I'm a bit more calm and maybe reserved than like what some other people are here in the Netherlands, for example. For example, I do think the Dutch can be quite loud. I don't know if you've noticed, but I saw a map where they had like put like the loudness of each country in Europe.
Oh, wow.
And it was mostly like very quiet in the north and then it got like gradually louder. But then there was one red dot that was really loud and that was the Netherlands. And I think that's very true, actually.
Can you send me that map, please?
Yeah, I could try and find it. Yeah.
Okay. And going south is even louder?
Yeah, like Spain
Yeah,
and
okay.
Italy and I think so, usually.
Okay. So that got louder the moment you got a Dutch boyfriend and then moved here.
Yeah, for sure. I don't mind it though. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Tell us a bit more about your vlog, about your adventures and stories. Like, what's been the inspiration there?
So I would say the reason why I started with the vlogs was a bit because when I originally moved here, it was during the pandemic. So it was actually really hard to make any friends or connections. I worked remote. Life was really boring, to be honest. And I didn't really have much to do. So then I think because I had so much time to be bored, I had some ideas. And then one of the ideas was to start a YouTube channel. And ever since then, it's been nice to have a project that's really my own.
Yeah.
No one else can tell me what to do about it. I can decide everything by myself. It's like a little baby that's growing all the time.
Yeah.
And now it's
Now
become...
you're no longer bored anymore.
No, I'm never bored anymore. It's lovely, but if you are someone who thinks they have too much time on their hands, start a YouTube channel and you will never have that problem again, I would say. Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's fun. I wouldn't change it.
And for those people who haven't watched your channel yet, what is it about?
So I mainly do it's a bit of a mix of travel vlogs, but also about life here in the Netherlands. Of course, when I went to Latin America, I vlogged all of that and all the adventures there. But now when I'm back here, it has been more about life here and different Dutch cities to visit. And just in general, people who tend to watch my vlogs, they say they get a lot of ideas on what they can do in the Netherlands as people living here, for example, and get restaurant recommendations and which cities to visit and museums and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah. Would you say your vlogs are about that? More like a guide or more like a hotspot kind of thing? Or it's more than that, right?
Yeah, I share hotspots and fun things, but it's more in a vlog kind of laid back way. My idea with my vlogs and videos a bit is that I want to not necessarily have people visit a specific restaurant. Like, I don't really care about that. It's more about like inspiring people to go out and live their life. And for example, when it comes to traveling, a lot of people want to travel, but they don't necessarily have the funds or time or capacity to do it. But through the vlog show that even just going to a little city close by to where you live, you can have a great time. And to go out and create your own journey a little bit, I would say. Yeah.
Because probably beyond the vlog itself, it's also a briefing for yourself to go out more and to explore.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of my life these days revolves around me thinking about what could be a fun video to film. But then also a lot of the things I would do kind of anyway. But it gives what I'm doing like a next level of purpose in a way. So I'm not just going to Delft for the day and just chilling. I'm like, I'm going to share this and make it a bit of a... it just gives a bit of a purpose for what I'm doing in a way, which is really nice.
You make the most out of your day in Delft, for example, right?
Yeah.
It's fully packed.
Yeah, and there are days or weekends especially, when I feel like I just want to lie in bed and do absolutely nothing. But then I'm like, no, I need to, because I do videos every week. So I'm like, no, I need to get out there and film the next video. Otherwise, I won't be able to keep up with my schedule. And then when I go out doing it, it's like a way of forcing myself. I usually, 99% of the time, end up having an amazing time. And I'm really happy that I had something to push me to go and do that in a way. Yeah.
And that's something you couldn't foresee beforehand, probably.
No, because otherwise, if I wouldn't have that extra reason for going, probably a lot of times I just would have ended up staying at home. But then, do you remember those days you've stayed at home? No. Like, I remember all the times I have gone out and done something special with the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also interviewing me now. It's a bit I mean, in this format, is of course it's different because I see a lot of benches.
And you get to meet people and have connections. And,
So that's also something I wanted to test with you. You know, like beyond the vlogging and everything. It's like, did you also get to know people through it? Besides me.
Yeah, I would maybe not that much. Of course, I've had a lot of like experiences that I wouldn't have had otherwise, and I've met a lot of, I wouldn't say maybe a lot of deep connections, but a lot of like fun interactions for sure. Like this weekend I was in Schiedam, and because I was vlogging, there was a guy who noticed it, and we were visiting a windmill with my friend, and he ended up giving us a private free tour of the windmill because of that. So
it opens up opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And have there been like some interesting findings already? How many vlogs did you make?
I don't know. Maybe something between 150 and 200. I haven't really checked, to be honest.
This is episode 53.
Yeah, there's been quite a few, but then if I'm completely honest, my first vlogs, I have hidden them because they were not very good.
Yeah, I've never seen them. I didn't see them.
Yeah. Even though I know I know a lot of people like to see also the first videos people make because they want to see like how someone has progressed from that and see like where they started from. But for me, I maybe changed my direction a little bit, so that's why I deleted them, because I didn't want the wrong audience to find me, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but still, have there been any, in the new ones, been some surprises?
Surprises in what way?
Well, just things in your exploration you found that were surprising?
I'm not sure.
What's been the most fun one?
The most fun vlog? Well, I really like the Latin America ones, to be honest. then I also really loved the one I made about Leiden because it's funny, I lived in Leiden for 3.5 years. I didn't make a single video really about the city. And then when I came back and didn't live there anymore, I went back to finally film a proper video about it. But then I really knew the city well, so I thought that video turned out pretty well because of it. Yeah.
Because I'm also interested in when, knowing you going, exploring all these cities and all these
Yeah.
places. I mean, beyond the hotspots and the fun stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, knowing that this podcast is called Good Place, how would you say what you've discovered or what you see in cities makes a good place? I mean, do you have your own categories for it?
I would say honestly, for me, a good place in general and when going, it is the fact that I get to go out and vlog
Yeah.
and like do my own thing and have my own little adventure, because every time I make a video I feel like it's a new little adventure I get to have. And it's not necessarily about which place has been the most, like the best in a sense. It's been more like I have created that good place for myself by making these videos.
Right.
In a way, and like giving myself a bit of a purpose in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, for me, a good place is wherever I am with my camera. Yeah.
Don't let your boyfriend hear that.
Yeah, actually, my boyfriend is a very anti-social media person. He doesn't even have Instagram. He's not
Okay.
visible on my vlogs. He does help me and he's very supportive.
Does he film?
But he helps me film, yes.
Yeah.
But he's not visible on them himself.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's interesting.
But he's not the Instagram husband kind of thing. More like the YouTube husband.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, talking about good place. I mean, for example, filming The Hague, for example. What is something about The Hague you really appreciate through the work that you do?
I really do love The Hague. What I really like about The Hague is that there are so many, like, it's quite a big city in a way, and there's very different kind of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So it's not just the city center. Like just now when living here by the beach, there's so many like little neighborhoods nearby
Yeah.
that I've gotten to explore through some of my videos that I probably otherwise wouldn't have ever seen or heard about.
Yeah.
And finding these like little communities within the city itself. I think that's been pretty cool. And yeah, I feel like I could probably make 100 videos and always find something new to share.
Maybe like Janica's neighborhood vlog.
I have one like that. Because when I moved here, I made one just walking around here in this neighborhood.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's true. I'll make more. I'll make more.
That's only one neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
And it's what I before I lived in Amsterdam, and I noticed that when we talk about diversity in The Hague, everything is quite segregated. There are
Yeah.
different neighborhoods with it's completely different worlds almost. You know, I think it's interesting that every vlog would be completely different, even with the demographics.
Yeah.
I think that's both the beauty and also I think sometimes the challenge here in The Hague, because if you're going to live somewhere, it's so completely different world. I mean, you lived in two different places in The Hague. They're super different, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So before this, I lived right in the city center. It was only for 6 months. It was very handy, but was also quite hectic. Like,
Yeah.
because I am from Finland, I'm used to it being a bit more calm in general. So for me, living in the Hague center was a bit too busy. I felt like people would walk on top of me when I stepped out of the apartment. And then here again, I step out and I can hear the seagull. And that's pretty much it. So it's very, very different. And yeah.
But also the type of people where you live, I think, are completely different than in city center.
Yeah.
Down there.
So I don't want to. Where I live right now, it is definitely a different group of people than what I'm used to, especially also compared to Leiden, because Leiden is quite posh. It's like a weird mix of posh people and students. And then now where I live, it's very local, I would say. It's a lot of families. It's very much the kind of people who have lived there for 5 generations. Yeah. And now, because the building where I live is new, it has been a bit of an adjustment for the neighborhood, because now suddenly a bunch of new people have moved in to this neighborhood, and we are not 5th generation Downdorpers. So
You're part of a social experiment.
a little bit, yeah. So we've been a little bit we've had to endure some slight harassment from the local children, like the building itself. I hope it will calm down. It has already calmed down a little bit, but yeah, they are not used to the fact that they're now, because also the building where I live in, there's a lot of like immigrants and expats living in that building, and mostly the neighborhood is very, very Dutch. Yeah.
Did you ever ask why did they do that? The
The
whole building in a neighborhood that is
well,
surrounded by 5 generations of Dutchies.
well, on their website it said that I don't know if it's a good thing though, but they said that this is a trendy new building, and I understood they wanted to change a little bit the demographics in the neighborhood.
Right.
That's the way they've wrote it like that, but in a nice way. But honestly, I think it was just an opportunity to make some money, being close by the beach. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, talking about good place.
Yeah.
So even on neighborhood level, like a new built building with a rent structure or a buy structure with, of course, with Downdorp is completely different. And then there is such a different demographic living there. And then everyone around it has probably nothing to say about it and still have to accept it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But they should have a more like a community. There should be an event or something, like bring them together.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. Like we have this like
Straatfeest.
yeah, we have this like neighborhood, or we have like a build chat for the building, and we have been in contact with like the local community and trying to figure out how we could blend in better with the people living in the neighborhood. But yeah, we've bowled with the idea of having a barbecue and inviting everyone over, but I don't know how the logistics of that would actually work. But I think it just takes some time to adjust, because
They know how to party.
yeah, that's true. And everyone living in the building is very excited about living here.
Yeah.
And we want to integrate with the neighborhood and the people here. But I feel like it just needs some time and adjustment for everyone to get used to this. And I also think we're not going to be the last new building. There's going to be more.
In that neighborhood.
I think so. Yeah.
Sounds like a takeover.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on here in The Hague, building-wise and everything. But I mean, how do you see as somebody from Finland, as an international? I refuse to say expat because you're here to stay. That's also what the channel is about. Get rid of the word expat. Is it hard to make friends here, or to connect, or to have that sense of belonging in The Hague? Well, of course you have a Dutch boyfriend. Maybe that's
Yeah,
different.
but he's not from here, so that didn't really help.
Okay.
But when I first moved, I didn't first move to The Hague, to be fair. I moved to Leiden. And because it was the pandemic, it was impossible to make friends.
Yeah.
You only saw people in the supermarkets, and even then there was the 1.5 meter distance regulation, and it's not, it was impossible to meet anyone. How I actually ended up finding friends was through a Facebook group.
Okay.
Originally. So there's this Facebook group called Girl Gone International, GGI, and I know there's one for The Hague as well.
Okay.
And it's for women who live abroad. And a lot of cities around the world have their own, like, city one. And then via that group, there's a lot of women asking for, hey, who wants to go with me to brunch tomorrow? And then, yeah, that's how I kind of got the ball rolling in the beginning. And then it was a bit of a domino effect.
Okay.
And yeah, that was really helpful.
And now you really have friends.
Yeah, now I've already have there was a few girls I met through that Facebook group, and we're still friends now 4 or 5 years later. And then also I started, of course, meeting people through these people, and yeah.
What about the guys? No guys in the group?
There's no guys in the group, I'm afraid.
I
So-
only brunch with female.
Yeah, I think it's just for some women it's more
Yeah.
comfortable
Yeah.
than to meet up with random dudes from the internet, to be honest.
I'm a random dude from the internet.
That's true. uh,
Sorry.
no, but yeah, I'm sure I know there's some kind of group where it's gender inclusive, where you can go for dinner with strangers here in The Hague.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the name of that. I would have to check it out.
Yeah, you have something like breakfast club, where you have lunch with
Yeah.
creatives.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Or and well then sorry, there's breakfast club, but there's also like the creatives lunch club.
Hmm.
So once a month you, over lunch meet new people, perhaps random dudes, part of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you connect over tons of creative stuff. I mean, yeah. You photograph, film.
Sounds fun. Sign me up.
It's not my community,
Yeah, I need to.
but I'll send you the link. Yeah.
Thank you.
But other than that, I think then thank God there's that Facebook group.
Mm.
What else? Is it definitely harder to connect?
Yeah, there was also other expat groups that I joined.
Finish in The Hague?
No, there is one called like Finnish people in the Netherlands, but that's more of a how do I file my taxes kind of group. Yeah. But there's like some, like I know this one guy who was, he lives in Leiden, he was from Brazil, and he has himself created a WhatsApp group with hundreds of people, and now he's organizing all these events for these people, basically. Yeah, so he has created his own big community, which is pretty cool.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm also thinking of starting my own like community, like offline group
Yeah.
here in The Hague, just to. Well, actually, this Sunday I'm gonna launch a run club.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you're into running.
I can get into running.
Yeah, it's all levels. It's even for people who are not into running. But yeah, I mean, it's you're always looking for this kind of shared passion in something. I mean, I've been now in The Hague 4 years, and sure you meet people through like co-working space and so on. But yeah, I mean, next to the run club, I'm thinking maybe do a Good Place Cafe series where we can, I don't know,
Sign me up for that one, definitely.
maybe you want to co-host it
Yeah.
if
That
you're
will-
up for it.
Maybe. Sounds fun. I know all the best cafes here.
Exactly. Well, that's one of them. We don't have to do it every month, but yeah, maybe once a quarter. Just a way to mobilize people and
Yeah.
engage around the place we live in.
Yeah, because it can be quite tough. And what I've understood is even tougher for guys to kind of make connections, because for women, I don't know, it's more kind of activities are in a way acceptable. This sounds weird, but I've noticed through my boyfriend, for example, if you're not into drinking or football, it's really hard to make connections as a guy.
Drinking.
Like you don't go for brunch. You don't there's
Okay.
there's like less kind of these like low-key activities that you can do. And yeah, it's not just the foreigners that can struggle with finding friends. I feel like if you move to a new city, also as a Dutch person, it can be sometimes a bit difficult because all the other Dutch people, they already have their own circles.
Yeah.
So it can be quite hard to get into those.
Yeah.
So even for him, when we moved to Leiden originally, he actually ended up making a bunch of friends like through these expat groups and stuff.
Yeah, international friends.
Yeah, because they were more up for meeting new people and
Yeah,
making
yeah.
these connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Munich abroad, and when I was 18, I moved here. I already had the same thing,
Yeah.
because even if you meet people from the same age, they already have their friends for 18 years since kindergarten. Imagine when they're 40, whatever. It's even longer.
Yeah.
So absolutely true. I have that same experience. But then you need to still, beyond drinking and watching football, find a different kind of shared passion.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think it's just generally important to be active yourself, because if you're just like, the reason why I found friends was because I was actively seeking for events and groups and like, also I had, well, that wasn't actually actively, but I had some people just reach out to me through Instagram who, for example, watched my vlogs, and then I ended up meeting up with them, stuff like this. But I was kind of actively putting myself out there to make these connections. If I would have just sat at home and felt sorry for myself,
waiting for things to happen.
waiting for someone to knock on my door, yeah. Yeah. So it is.
But that energy you feel when you move to a new city.
Yeah, for sure.
You feel that urge to explore and
Yeah, and make connections, and yeah, for sure. For me now, I actually haven't made that many new friends now in The Hague, I feel like, because most of my friends are still in Leiden. Some of my friends have now moved here as well, which is fun. Also through my new job that I started, well, new, I started in September. Through that also has helped to make new connections.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would want to build a bit more of a community also here in The Hague, for sure.
Yeah. I think that it's a bit of a trending theme within the podcast, that sense of belonging. And I think that's, if you have that community, you feel that you belong more to that place.
Yeah. And I think for some foreigners, it can be hard to have that sense of belonging and community, because I had one friend, she just told me like in the weekend that she sometimes struggles with the idea if she wants to stay here or move. She's also from Finland, or move back to Finland. And she said the reason, she loves being here, but she feels like a lot of her friends, because they're also internationals, they don't necessarily tend to stay. So a lot of people kind of come and go. So that makes it feel like her community is very unstable.
Yeah.
And that's, like she said, that's like the only and biggest reason why she would consider moving back home, just to have a bit more stability.
Yeah.
But I also do think the older you get, the more like settled people maybe get. But yeah.
No, I mean, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you still move places, even if you're older, then you still want to have that sense of belonging.
Yeah, of course. And even if you would, I think it's easy to think, oh, I'm just going to move back home. But I think you would have to also do some work to feel the sense of belonging back in your home country.
Yeah.
Because if you've been gone for many, many years, everything's going to be different, and all of your friends there, they have their own lives and circles and things going on. So I think it will take more time than what you would maybe expect to also readjust to that. So it's not necessarily the answer. Yeah.
Is that something on your horizon that you think of? Because I don't have that, moving back home.
No, I don't think I want to move back to my home country. It's actually funny because my boyfriend would want to move to Finland, but I want to stay here. But I think he has a romanticized picture of it. But no, I love it here, and I really want to build my life here, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. I think that's also what I try to aim. That's what I said, something about the word expat, is that it's not always, oh, you're international, so the given is that you're gonna move back home. No, right? I mean, just like your perspective now. Yeah, I should connect with you more because you're here to stay. You're not gonna leave, you know.
Yeah, for sure. No,
And that's I think the same for your friend.
Yeah. Well, I hope she will stay, and I hope most of my friends will stay. And yeah, of course. But that's the thing. It's not a given also that people back in your home country are always going to stay. People are going to move cities and have life changes anyway. So,
True.
Of course, it's important to have a community, but also I do think the one thing in life that doesn't change is that everything changes. Yeah.
It's a moving target.
Yeah. So I think it's very important to find happiness, it's important to be a little bit adaptable, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you in a good place, Janica?
I would say I'm in a very good place, enjoying the beach life in The Hague.
Sunny weather.
And this spring has been amazing. Like since March, it's been sunshine like almost every day.
I mean, yeah.
It's been really good.
Yeah, we've been spoiled.
Yeah.
Curious to see how the summer is going to be like. But yeah, I noticed with all my bench sessions, it's been quite comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because normally sitting in the rain or canceling sessions.
True.
But about that good place, it's always emotion then. To quickly recap on what you just said.
Yeah, I think you have to create your own good place, and just
It's not a final.
no, and it's not necessarily a physical place. Like yes, it's important to maybe create that community like we discussed and find a place that feels like where you belong and feels like home. But then yeah, as also we discussed, things do change, and if you want to hold on to nothing ever changing, then that's going to be tough. But for me, a good place is where I create it, and I think I have created that here.
And what needs to change?
Hmm?
What needs to change? Because everything is always changing.
Oh, nothing needs to change, but I just have to accept the fact that it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Not always something that you want to
No,
change
no.
yourself.
No.
No.
No, exactly. It can be external things, and
Yeah, the weather can change.
the weather can change. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And with your partner, is he feels the same way?
With what?
Like the mindset of place, not the physical sense, but life in general here in The Hague.
Yeah, I think so. He's been really happy living here because there's more nature here than what there
Yeah.
was in Leiden. So he's been very happy about that.
Does he run?
No.
I'm hustling people here on the bench.
But yeah, I think he has quite similar views to me as well. But he still wants to move to Finland at some point, but we need to talk him out of that.
This is the promo video of keeping him here.
Yes.
Yeah, I have this also sense that whenever I moved here, also the place in itself is growing on me more, like more and more over time. And yeah, things are changing. It starts to fit more like a glove at one point.
Yeah, that's true. Well, for me, The Hague still feels quite new and exciting because we've only lived here for less than a year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it does seem like it is. Yeah, also the city is constantly changing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to everyone watching that want to start a creative project, what would you say to them?
Just do it. Because, like said, my first videos were really, really bad. But I think...
We'll send a link below.
No, but I think a lot of people, if they want to start something, they're thinking, okay, but first I need to do this, and I need to perfect this, and I need to learn this. And then years go by and you never start. But the truth is, you're never going to be 100% ready or perfect. You just need to start and kind of learn as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Because then my biggest regret is that I didn't start sooner.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, biggest regret. I'm happy I started eventually. Of
Starting kindergarten.
yeah, should have. Yeah.
And what is the dream?
The dream, just in general?
Well, yeah, okay, let's put it that way. Both ways. The dream in general and the dream regarding your channel.
In general, I just want to live a life that looks like me, where I'm content and happy and life is exciting. Mm-hmm. With my channel, I do hope it grows more and more, that more people find it and I can make more connections through it. And yeah, just kind of see where it takes me.
Outside the Netherlands.
That too. But also here within the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to meet like more creatives actually here in the Netherlands, because I don't really know a lot of people who would, like, you're almost like the first person I meet who does something like this as well, in a way.
I know a couple
Yeah.
that I can connect you with.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, creatives unite, Here in The Hague, you have the creators group, The Hague
Yeah.
Creators, you know them?
No.
Okay. Good. That's for one. That's one step.
Yeah.
They also host events. There's also like a photo walk group, photography group.
Oh yeah, I think I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So The Hague didn't have that much of. And this is the thing coming from Amsterdam or like any bigger city. Yeah, what am I missing? The more like the creative industry kind of thing, or the visibility of it. It
Yeah.
probably it's there, but it wasn't visible. But you see now like initiatives picking up, so it's a good thing. It's evolving. That's how I feel about The Hague. Coming from a city like Amsterdam, where you feel everything is done, here it feels like there's room for new coffee places.
Yeah.
Definitely in this area. There's room for a run club. There's room for a lot of ideas in events, and that's what I like. It's still moldable in some ways.
Yeah, for sure. Well, especially in The Hague, I don't think there's a lot of creatives and like content about it in general. Like on Instagram, I know a few content creators,
Yeah.
but there's definitely some space to wiggle in there if anyone's interested.
Yeah, I mean, the drone shots up the Ferris wheel is it's a bit done now, right? So it's time for different different content and different stories.
Yeah.
Well, I think The Hague should be happy to have you.
Thank you.
Don't go visit too many other cities in the Netherlands. Also focus on your own city. I want to see more neighborhoods.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm filming a My Week this week, so maybe I'll show a bit more around The Hague as well.
All right, amazing. Well, Janica, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed your first podcast.
Yes, it was very much fun.
Okay, good.
I was a bit nervous, but I think it went okay.
Absolutely, for sure. And I think I always invite people that we should do a part 2 once in a while at one given point. Not next month, but maybe I don't know,
Yeah.
in time, just to catch back on what we said and see if perspectives have changed and so on. And well, nice to connect with a fellow creative in The Hague. For everyone watching, I hope you're going to check out Janica's vlogs from The Hague, but also other cities on her channel. Please, of course, check it out below in the description. And don't forget to subscribe, because I noticed that a lot of people are watching the vlogs, well, the podcasts, the episodes, but they fail to subscribe. So click. I'll use this sequence as well to promote on YouTube Shorts and whatever other channels we're at. But it helps the channel grow if we get more subscribers and more followers. And I know you enjoy them, so it should be a no-brainer. Everyone watching, thank you so much from The Hague Harbor on this sunny Monday. And looking forward to seeing you next time around. All the best and take care. Ciao.
Bye.